Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Failing on Purpose music video playthrough. You know, Matt and Tony and Victor, wherever they are. Below me, we have Rob Levy, the genius behind the animation of the video. And over here, we have Quil Cauchon, who helped facilitate everything and produce the video with us. So we're going to walk through the video. There's so many juicy nuggets to pull out of this video for us to talk about. So we're going to kind of break it down. Just random funny stuff, actual cool animation things that Rob did, and kind of how he did all that. So let's jump into the first part.
This is a really exciting release for us, all being nerds, getting to do something that's, just making us video game characters, basically. The idea originally came from failing a lot at something and learning from those failures, and so that's something that you do in video games all the time, and it kind of just went hand in hand with, I think, some of what's in the song lyrically already that Victor wrote, and the ability to make us little characters in like a Ninja Turtles or Streets of Rage style game and have that actually kind of fit really well with the song was crazy, and we had to do it. And we all love Rob for doing this for us. God, just fucking everything about that being like a start screen.
I know, so sweet. I also realized I think I have the best stats. I don't know how that happened. I think I have one more stat than everybody else. I think that's my
you
fault.
got one more.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Yeah,
I may or may
do.
not like you a little bit more.
You like me one attack point, one speed point better than everyone.
No, Tony has a 5 speed.
Yeah.
We had to nerf Jesse, Jesus.
Everybody just min-maxing like I do. We gotta play Jesse. Does anybody remember whose idea this was? The stats. I feel like it just sort of lent itself. We were just like, oh, video game stats screen.
Yeah, I think I had said a character selection screen with the chiptune version of the song would be a cool way to start it. And oh yeah, the chiptune is by my friend Hunter Honey, who's a great beat writer. Yeah, Rob, do you want to talk a little bit about those portraits and how setting up that screen was and everything?
Yeah, actually, well, that was my first time kind of doing those bigger portrait pixels like that. I kind of was a little iffy getting into, but for you guys, I wanted to just try to tackle something different and cool, and I just felt like it would just add a different style of pixel art to the video and just build on kind of what we're creating.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of in games when you're playing as, or Pokemon especially, you're playing as this smaller sprite, and then when you see the character's face in a dialogue box, it's this more close-up headshot of them that's more detailed. So I just love that without even communicating that, you just hit on that video game trope just perfectly.
I mean, can I ask you guys a question? What inspired? Because one of the things I like most about it, which I knew about it getting into it, but while making it, it really stuck out and made me smile, was the comedy aspect to it, and kind of the little subtle jokes in there. So I'm kind of curious where that came from, or who brought that to the table.
I think we're all just pretty goofy people in general, and we try to laugh as much as we can. So, peppering in humor is seemed kind of necessary, I think.
Just a fun way to throw some little jokes in there, which just lent itself. The style of the video is very fun and energetic. It's not super dark and moody, so it's yeah, let's just throw some character into our characters.
Smooth by Santana is a terrible song. That's why it's a weakness. It's not because I like it. I want to clarify that.
On record.
I think my strength was silver tongue. My weakness was mirrors.
And he has no class.
Really, yeah, my class was that I have no class.
That was the best part of yours.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So good.
There's a shitty pun in all of ours, I think.
I think it was strength because I eat my vegetables.
Yeah. I like how Tony has the highest speed just because he can skate too.
Because of skateboard.
Yeah.
So
There's for us each to have the stats that we have. It's cool. Except for Jesse's, which we realize now is he just has higher numbers than all of us. Right?
I paid Rob on the side.
What's your highest stat? Because I would think it would be your strength because you have to load in the drums.
My highest stat's actually my defense.
What?
I think it's,
you got a lot protecting you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, dude. It's so hard to get to me. I got all that stuff in front of me.
You could have a drum shell.
Oh, yeah, a little backpack.
Part two.
Part two.
where we all have mechs made out of our instruments. Jesse's just a fucking drum kit.
Would it be a drumdom instead of a Gundam?
But that's
Love it.
I love that, Quil.
Just make me so happy.
it's Jacob.
Jacob!
Yeah.
Shout out Jacob.
I love how that's not our shirt, but it looks like he's wearing our merch.
I know.
In fact,
I
that's a
think
Band Camino shirt he's wearing.
Yeah, it's a band Camino shirt that looks just like an arrow shirt.
I love the cyberpunks.
Oh yeah, man.
We gotta
It's
talk about
so cool.
that guy.
The level
wait,
of
did you-
detail just blows my mind every time I see it. I catch something new every time I watch this.
Yeah, wait,
Yeah.
there's a new flyer on there. There's a couple new things. Yeah, wait.
Also, this live stage setup is just the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, because before we only had like just the stage of us performing, but like with the lights and everything, it just looks incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first like whole section, there's just so many cool things. Should we I feel like we should probably just point out all the Easter eggs, right? That's what this video is for.
No, don't put
Some
it.
of them. Some of the Easter
It
eggs.
depends on what you mean by point out the Easter eggs.
Well, first, I mean, like, you guys want to break down like the enemy types and everything that's in there, and like
Oh yeah.
how you came up with the idea to have those like robots made out of like mic stand XLRs and stuff.
I mean, that was all you guys. I feel like I was kind of just running on the original concept that you guys had as far as turning musical equipment or stage gear. I think it was kind of the original direction, bringing that to life. And I thought speakers, then the little drone things, I just kind of
Dude.
thought would be a little fun.
Those are so cool.
Yeah, I don't know how much sense they make, but you know, the idea was just to kind of just make them look cool. Have fun
That's
with
the
it.
cool thing is there's like variety in it. It's not just like 3 types of robots that look like dudes. There's like a little saucer or something that comes at you, and then there's like a wire guy that comes at like, I don't know, because we kind of just told you like we just want equipment that attacks us, and you really took it a step further.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely something, you know, I was thinking about just and not even like, you know, before getting into it, it's more like while I'm making it and I make one and I have to make another and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm not gonna just do the same thing. We have to, you know, make a different kind of villain, have a different kind of attack, and just kept running, as you guys
So
see.
cool. There are some other really fun details that come into our characters here. Some of them being like the tattoos on me and Tony. Just little glimpses of the tattoos on us. So cool.
But yeah, the detail again, it blows my mind. It's every single time I watch it, down to the tattoos. I mean, the bracelets I was wearing, like, it's all there. It's crazy, and on a little pixelated character.
The details on the street really blow me away. Like if you've walked down that street, you know exactly every
Yeah.
single detail on that street is correct. And Rob,
Yeah.
you just got that off of what? Google Earth?
I was just gonna say, yeah, shout out to Google Maps. Really helped us out during the pandemic.
We didn't even say that though, because we had said, I think this is a perfect example of something that like we kind of got to conceptually, but weren't really sure where it should be. And I remember the initial discussions of like, well, we could start at a venue and we could go down the street and try to be getting to our van. And then like, you know, you took that to be like, you know, we're coming out of our favorite venue and it's actually in Gainesville. This is exactly what this street looks like. So let's make it look like this street was taken over by evil robots. And it's like, you know, now it's real. Now it's a real place. And that was just like, I don't know, like I hadn't thought about that. It's fucking rad.
The other obvious one, the Pacific. Anyone in Gainesville probably knows the reference, but
The
To a great
Pacific and
venue.
Snap a Cap.
Snap a Cap is my favorite.
Snap a Cap. Some takes on some Gainesville classics on that road.
So I don't remember what the other options were, but we had quite a few options for the Snap Cap remix, right?
Oh yeah, we threw around a few.
I think we went with the best one for sure.
It was the only one that wasn't like weird sounding. It was funny and it was close to what it actually is, but it was the only thing that was like, I don't remember the other ones being very strange.
Oh, another cool thing. I'm trying to find a good frame for it, but Tony's skateboard
Oh yeah.
being like that's. Oh, I found it. Is that a skateboard that you have?
Yeah, so when we sent like the kind of like
So
pictures
cool.
for our characters and everything, Yeah, even down to like the color of the trucks on my skateboard. Yeah, it's the deck I currently ride. It's awesome.
So cool.
Like we all did like videos of us performing to kind of give you like a sense of what we looked like when we moved. But did Tony do like an extra video for skating?
Yeah, I think I got the most from Tony. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he definitely had, because I think I got both sides skating both ways, and then I got his swing also because I wanted to see how the skateboard looked going through that full motion, which is how I was able to get the bottom of the deck, thankfully, and was able to get all that.
It was a very awkward afternoon in my room, swinging a skateboard iPhone.
Did you spin around that fast?
Yo, yeah, I've seen him do it.
Oh yeah,
I've seen it.
He was faster. I actually had to slow it down just so people would be able to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Like Tasmanian devil style.
Yeah, it was cool. So, practice swings with the skateboard, and then even sent videos of me like pushing. My stances is the same. It's crazy.
I mean, another question I can chime in with. I'm curious, how crazy did all you guys feel sending me that initial self-recording? I don't know what this is gonna be, but let's hope for the best.
I guess I just didn't know. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like he'll use it for reference, and I was like, this seems like a good like request. But I didn't know how good, like how down to the like frame beat of the song that it was all gonna get. And we'll definitely get into that more too with the stage shots, because like it's crazy.
I didn't realize that we each had particular things that we did when we played. Like I didn't know, like for as long as I've played, I didn't know that I had like certain things. And when you just break it down to like the key, oh, like this is what he does with his leg on a downbeat, and this is what he does when there's like a rest. His hand goes off the neck in the surf. I was like, so I only felt weird once I saw the animation, because I was like, oh god, that's what I look like. That's crazy. That's cool. In a good way. I was just like freaked out that it looked exactly like us. Like Victor's little stomp thing that he always does. Like I was right there. I was like, cool.
Yeah, if you've seen us live, it's pretty crazy to know how exact some of these like tendencies are.
The like this thing. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
That's
like,
absolutely something I do.
The tongue out, yeah, Jesse with his tongue out, that's also an excellent one.
wrong faces.
Oh,
Well, that didn't go so well.
no.
The stage shots look so cool.
They're
Like,
so
like
cool.
Even like the camera motion makes you feel like you're at a live show.
So many good things about this part that I love so much.
We decided to frame the shots for the live stuff, because it just like, that was another one of those things that like you just kind of like knew to do, and it just looked really nice there. Like there was a little discussion on that. It just like looks fucking great the way it is.
I definitely just kind of set the scene and ran with it for the most part, but I feel like a couple things that I definitely stylistically wanted that I feel like translated pretty cool was having that handheld motion of the camera while we were in that scene, just to kind of give it a little bit more live feeling, as much as a pixel animation can feel like you're actually there watching a concert. And then also like when you cut to the other stuff, back to all the side scrolling stuff, that there is a difference, and like it's not all doesn't all feel exactly the same. So that was kind of the main thing in my head. And then as far as like who I was on, what shot I was on for who when, was really kind of just rolling with it, which on a technical level was a little tricky, because with all the lights and stuff, like it ended up being a lot of work on my computer, and to export the full stuff with you guys, like the full performances with you guys with all that going on, took a lot of time. But I wanted to do that with the lights. That way when I was actually cutting you guys, I had all the final effects, and I knew where the lights were going to be where. So if I wanted to cut in between a light swoop, that I can do all that fun stuff. So the first time I did it, I just let the computer run for like a day and a half, just exporting the files. And then after I knew where I was going to use each of you, I went back and separated and just cut out those like 2-second bits. That way, if I had to make any changes, and anytime I went back to edit it, I can just export 1 second at a time, opposed to the 45-second chunks or whatever. That's a little geek out moment. If that's too boring, totally cut that.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. I mean,
that's work ethic, man. Holy crap.
yeah,
Did that make any sense?
Yeah, no. And I think that's a cool part that I wanted to kind of point to. I really like how the video, like, you don't get the stage shot until after the boss. So it's like, I don't know, for me as like someone watching, I think you're like, oh, like this is really cool, like this whole side scrolling thing, like wow, this is awesome. And then it's like, oh, there's this whole other really cool thing now that wasn't there before. And like as you look at it, and I've watched this video so many times, I feel like I see a new thing every time I watch it, even though we were in the creation of it. It's just so crazy the way you cut it, and then even afterwards just like cutting back and forth. So to hear sort of your process on how you made that work and how you got to those edits is really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys know, like that was kind of, the performance scene was something I kind of got in my head really early on, and I knew it was going to be a lot of work and it would be a pain, but that was definitely something I fell in love with early, and I just knew I needed to make it happen, and I had to see you guys rocking out.
A lot of lip syncing, like with dialogue, was it different with it being a song? Was it harder, or sort of like hard to choose when you would see the singer or anything like that?
No, I mean the lip syncing I've done with other animations, so that process is pretty similar. The only like new thing I did with this is I made some new mouth animations that was just a little wider, so anytime that there was really just going in on a note, I was able to really widen the mouth, so that's the one kind of new thing. But yeah, generally it's just laying it in and syncing it up.
It looks awesome.
I was gonna say, if you look at, like, I'm sure you guys can speak to all this stuff too, but like even just me like looking at the drums, like my little guys like hitting all the cymbals right, hitting the right cymbals on the right sides that I hit them in real life. And I'm sure like you could go up the neck, like when you're going up the neck in the song. I have to ask, I mean, which one of us took the most time to sync?
Oh, I mean, you by far. The drums.
I would think.
Yeah, the drums
it
were.
Just looks like a nightmare.
A couple days.
Because you
sure.
made it perfect, but like thinking through animation, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, we can dig into it whenever, but generally I was able to keep the models to a minimum with everybody else, but because the drummer, I had the legs separate, I had each leg separate, I had each arm separate, I had the head separate and the body separate. That was just the most intricate, and basically I just had to do it one at a time. So I would sync that, and just, it was not really hard, it just took a long time.
You and all your independent limbs.
Yeah.
You're a rocktopus, Jesse.
Yeah.
Good thing you only have 2 arms. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I honestly don't think I noticed that you had my like hi-hat foot too, like also moving the hi-hat.
Moves with the
I
hi-hat.
didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's a shame. I definitely did a lot of stuff that you'll probably never see.
You know
I
what?
mean, you see it a little bit there, but dude, I mean, it counts.
Well, it just all adds to this, like the whole thing that it looks natural. Like, oh my god,
Right.
yeah, his heel is moving.
Even the little stripes on his Vans are there.
Oh my god, yeah, and the fact that like your head's not just like straight too, because like I don't know, I've seen like
Look
video
how
games
expressionful he is.
Yeah.
Rousey and everything.
I think that's one of my favorite things about the animation is the way
And
that it captures expression.
yeah.
the symbol, like they don't just hit, they like go back into place. I don't know, Craig. The detail, it's just insane. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
They actually move.
You knew this is what this is going to be, right, Rob? That we're just going to bring you on and just praise you for an hour.
To be like, holy cow.
Oh my god, it's so cool.
It is so cool though. Rob's spotlight video.
Yeah, the symbols. I think we might have talked about on a meeting like that. Once I did that, I learned real quick like that's going to be the selling point of all of this. Like, the hitting all the other drums, as long as they're in time, they'll be fine. But we really needed the cymbals just rocking for those couple frames just to really keep that emotion and that mood going.
We didn't talk about the big bad boss yet.
Yeah.
Poor van.
We gotta do that because that's all Rob. All we said was our van turns into an evil transformer thing.
Yeah.
made-
It was just like we went through a few different ideas like when we were just wildly brainstorming this music video, and it had so many different iterations before we were like, a tour van would be cool. And then we just sort of pitched it to you. And what was when we gave you that, Rob? Where did that take you? Like, where do you start with that?
I mean, it was pretty straightforward. You guys tell me you want a tour van into a killer transformer robot. There's really
I love it.
there's only one way to go about it, you know? Yeah, I mean, the only real important thing was to make it look cooler than all the other things and just a little bit more, you know, like a boss, and just ran with it.
I love how you say it's straightforward. Like that's like, oh, it's like the first thing you learn in like animation school 101, how to turn a car into a transformer. Like that's the first thing you learn how to do.
Doesn't everybody know how to just do that?
That was such a huge part of my childhood. I should know how to do that.
That's only like there's so much that like I definitely looked at a lot of references for this, but there's so much that I'm just able to pull from just nostalgia, and I've seen so many Transformers that I definitely pulled up a couple just to get a couple ideas on how to make some biology. Is that the right word? The anatomy, not biology. Anatomy.
Close.
That out. But yeah, it definitely it wasn't a stretch for me to figure it out at all.
So much talent. Oh.
Seriously.
Hey, you guys, I'm telling you, that's why I feel like this collaboration was so cool, because you guys kind of came at me with all these ideas and there really wasn't much like pullback either way, and we kind of just kept running and just building on what we had, which was really dope.
It's crazy how positive this whole thing has been. It's like anytime there's been an idea, I don't think there's really been much of a like, nah. It's all just been like, oh yeah, that, or like, let's build on this, or let's try this, and then it's awesome. It's been easy, and that I wouldn't have expected that going into it at all.
Well, because Rob comes up with these insane ideas and spend the time to make it happen, which, like, I don't know, super grateful for. There's one detail that I wanted to talk about too that I really liked that you threw in, where I think it's the second time that we're all beat by the boss, and then the last time when we finally win, there's like these little interactions between Tony and I, where Tony helps me up the ground, and then, oh no, it is just the last time, yeah, and then he throws me at him.
Yeah.
Just like, what? How did you think of that?
So great.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like my main inspiration, and so loosely, but like just the one thing I kind of thought in my head we're making the bootleg really cheap version of is that Avengers, I think the Infinity War, not Endgame, Infinity War, where they're fighting Thanos and kind of just them all taking their one shot at a time, and that's kind of what I had in my head for you guys, where, you know, you're gonna work together, but it had to start off with you guys going at it one at a time unsuccessfully, and again, that was kind of just, that's where I started with, and then actually the throwing, it was all just building naturally. Like the throwing, I didn't have that idea until after I made Tony's attack where he's swinging in the circle, and I just made that because I thought it'd be a cool attack. But then when I got up to that part, I was like, I got this spinning thing. It'd be really cool if Tony just spins him around and launches him on his way. And then Matt had the guitar. It's weird how things kind of just worked, like, because that wouldn't have worked with Jesse's character, that wouldn't have worked with Victor's character. It was all kind of figuring out a way to have each of you guys with your own specific abilities and, you know, attacks that you had working out in this weird way.
It was super cool. I loved even too, like, bringing in just like tying together that team dynamic. Like the attack before that one is Jesse and Victor working together. It's like, you know, Jesse fires the sticks and Victor like charges it with voice. It's just so cool.
That's so rad.
Yeah.
I think that was all your idea too, Rob. I don't think we were just like, yeah, let's work together. And then you were like, oh, I've got the coolest idea.
Say no more.
I love it because it's like when we're watching it, it might be a dumb thought, but I'm like, yeah, like that is what we would do if we were superhuman being taken over by a tour van.
Just how you cut this section to make it interesting, to where you just weren't watching the same thing again. Like now you could clip in the parts of the stage shot.
Yeah, that was definitely a little tricky to figure out as far as yeah, how much to go back and forth, and I think we found a cool balance, I hope.
Yeah, here's our dope ass boss battle.
Oh, did Jacob have to send you references of him looking frightened and running around?
He did. He definitely did. He did his dirty
Oh
work.
man, are those in the Dropbox?
Have to watch those videos.
Oh wow.
And that's our next T-shirt.
The lighting here when it goes down, the mood lighting.
Oh yeah.
I love the signaling to each other when. Oh, that's so good, dude. This part too.
Well, Tony's
Hi-ya!
and he realizes like what my guy's saying and goes,
It is
"Oh,
smart though. The stars and everything as the screen turns
Oh,
it makes it so epic.
Did I do a little like yes thing at the end? Did I just catch that?
yeah, boom.
Here, I'll-
yeah."
Oh, Tony, you didn't see your celebration?
No, that's
Dude,
awesome.
it's so good.
I love Matt's face when he realizes that he's gonna win.
Yeah, the like. That's like such an anime thing too. The like.
Yeah.
So
Like
good.
something new every single time.
And the slide. Oh, so good.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
the way he slides back.
And look at our camping tour van right there.
Man,
And then
yeah.
this little, this little thing. I don't know whose idea was that. Your idea, Rob? That little like graphic. I love that.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
definitely a late idea. Yeah, I've seen it in a couple other like video game credit scenes where it kind of just has this kind of like, just I want to say simple picture, but it's kind of cool that it's like a little, I guess, more complex pixel wise. And yeah, I just
Hunter
I
was
like that idea. Sorry.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I think Spy Hunter was like that. The
Maybe
original.
Streets of Rage I was looking at too. I can't remember the exact one. But yeah, I just really like that idea of, I think we initially, or I initially at least had in my head of doing a more kind of in line with what we had for the other stuff of the van driving away animation. But something about this just felt a little bit more classic. And again, I kind of like the idea of throwing another pixel art style in there and just keeping it, keeping it fresh up until the very end.
I do want to show off your like the set design and let you talk a bit to that. I mean, it's sort of like the unsung hero of, or maybe it's the sung hero of the video, but it's just so cool how accurate it is. Like, as someone who has, been on this street, and then to see that you like, whoa, like legit built out a whole, wow, where does that go to?
So like that's if it is.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is.
Oh wow.
This is like some,
Lots.
Yeah. It's like Barcade and
this is down here.
Universe.
Yeah.
There's the UC. You even got the colors of
Yeah.
the UC right.
So you see them there.
Yeah, and Rob's in
That's-
fucking New York, just so you, yeah. And he did like.
Yeah, Rob's never been to this street before, but it's pretty much like pixel perfect.
Oh my god.
Hey, how how accurate he nailed it. I mean, what does that look like, Rob? Like, how did you start with that?
Oh man.
Had you done anything like that? Like, as far as like just recreating like a real world environment, had you done that before?
No, I mean, this is by far like the most complex environment I've built. I've usually, like, when I do 3D spaces, it's usually like the same kind of style as far as I build it all, and that way I can shoot with the camera. But this was definitely like the scale that I drew everything. This was the first time that I drew buildings to scale with the people. So everything was just much bigger and just a little bit more elaborate than anything I've done before. And yeah, like just looking at it now, it's hard to even remember where I began, but because it was the only way I was able to do it was just one piece at a time, and like, just draw 5 more buildings, and I know I need to see a little bit further. And we've definitely talked about that as far as like finding ways to cut off the distance and figuring out, how to not make it seem like it's just an endless space behind you guys, because we were going with that 3D fight scene and not just sticking with our flat 2D side scrolling the whole time. So yeah, it was just one at a time, and a lot of hanging out on Google Maps and checking all that stuff out. I would say though, it was so helpful to have that reference and to have that area that you guys liked, and to be able to to have that, because I didn't follow, I saw the buildings, I didn't make sure they were down to the brick exact, but it always gave me a good reference of like, great, this is a nice separation of color. This can kind of, now over here we'll have a green awning with, white stripes. Over here we'll have the orange awning, and afterwards we can look back and like, okay, it all looks different, so that was kind of the way I slowly kind of put it all together.
Or how often we see that area of town. I mean, it's spot on. It's perfect. You feel like you're home when you watch it.
Yeah.
One of the main things that stuck out to me about your animation style, like especially from like the Han Solo series, that it's like 2D characters and 2D objects and things like that in like this cool 3D space. And I know you just mentioned that like you do that so that you kind of have more options from like a cinematography standpoint. What else kind of like prompted you to start doing things that way? Because I don't know, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, I think that comes from my I'm not an animator by learning, or I didn't go to school for animation, and I went to school for film, so all my background is in filmmaking. So when I figured out that I could do this kind of weird animation where I use these 3D cameras, it kind of was a no-brainer for me. I was way more inclined, just because of the freedom, but also just to make something a little different. I knew right away that there was just something aesthetically that looked a little bit different. Whether it's I can add the depth of field, so there's a little bit of blur, but even just panning the camera left to right, that was a big thing with the stage performance. Actually, with the first, it's not the first shot, but it's when the camera pans to Victor for the first line, it goes from Tony to Victor, and it was just really important for me to have at least like one panning shot in there. That way we can kind of sell right away that this is a 3D environment, it's not just on a flat background. And all those things are kind of subtle in my opinion. I guess people watching it would be better judgments than me, but I feel like all that stuff's kind of subtle, where you might not see it, but you kind of feel it when you're watching it, of just like, oh, this definitely doesn't feel like it's on a flat background, and there's something a little bit different,
Yeah, that first pan from Tony to Victor, I might not have noticed it the first time, but when I did notice it, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And then I think you do it more throughout the rest of the video too with the stage shots, but I was like mind blown. I was like, whoa. It's like, it's in the animation. I don't get it, but it's super cool. It like feels like we were like legit put into the game and played our song, and you're actually watching a real performance, which is, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that before. So the fact that it's also us makes it extra cool to me, but just cool in general.
Yeah, it's cool that you come at it from that background. I guess I forgot about that. That you went, film school. And so all these like, you're an incredible animator just out of like learning to do so, but then like everything that you animate is cinematic because that's what you're schooled in. I didn't realize that. That's why those shots look as amazing as they do. I mean, like the boss fight, especially towards the end, and I think someone said it earlier, it's like anime style. Like some of our like actions there and some of the things that happen, and even like that final hit in anime is like, I don't know, it's super over the top.
That's the coolest thing about doing this. It's like you can kind of, it's animation, so clearly it's all cartoons, but since I'm shooting with a 3D camera, you can kind of blend with those two feelings of shooting with a camera, but also having cartoons.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of things like when Matt gets thrown in the last fight and his guitar like rolls around next to him. That's just such a cool little thing. It like tumbles with him. The Tony hand with Matt's hand is probably my favorite part of the whole video.
Amazing. I don't know why that one thing is just like so meaningful.
It's just, I don't know either. It gets me, it's really cool, and for whatever reason, it also makes me laugh at the same time. But it's like it's like what the shot would be like in a real film, and you just like, boop, little pixels. It's like absolutely what should be there. It just makes me laugh every time, because I'm like, oh my gosh, cute little pixel hands.
We're taking these pixels very seriously. We're treating them like real people.
Incredible, dude.
That's what makes your animation so special, Rob, is that like you do have that really unique perspective.
Thank you. That's really cool.
Cool. How did you meet Rob?
Rob was actually a recommendation from another animator I had worked with previously. I was inquiring. I was like, hey, do you know anybody that would be good for this project? And he's like, oh yeah, Rob would be awesome for that. And he sent me some of the work that Rob had done, the Han Solo series. And I was like, absolutely, yes, I need to message this man immediately.
Yeah, we only found out because of you, and yeah, the Han Solo stuff is like right to my heart. I mean,
Yeah, I think that definitely helped all of us. Our geek, our geek hearts were definitely all aligned from the beginning, which made this much easier.
Yeah, we all really did just work super well together.
yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. It's been pretty fun. I mean, I know the only one of us that's haven't been, pulling their hair out over this whole thing has been Rob. Slaving over this and making it look as amazing as it is. But I will say, I mean, the meetings have always been just like really fun, wild idea sessions that we were lucky enough to have Quil mediate and kind of say like, okay, well, hang on, like, what did you just say? I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, I can get going. Like, it's just very, very good match that we have here.
I agree. This was a killer team all around. And Quil, thank you so much for everything you did and are still doing. You're amazing.
You put your heart and soul into this video, and it shows. Like, the amount of care and dedication that you had for this project is so evident in every shot.
That's awesome. And I mean, that's all I was going for. So that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Literally a bucket list thing for Jesse, I think, right?
Oh, for real, dude.
For everyone,
Actually,
they want to see themselves animated.
Yeah.
So cool. I really can't speak to it enough.
Oh, some of the background things. I don't think we should explain everything because we can't yet anyways, but I think that if you watch it, go watch it again and look in the background for stuff.
Yeah, if you think you found a cool secret hidden gem, just throw it in the comments. We won't confirm it, but when it does get confirmed, you'll feel really cool.
You combine some of the things you find with Jesse's vague, ridiculous tweets, you might be able to.
Oh god, no. There's some
Just
secret
try to
code
put
in here.
together any of our Easter eggs with Jesse's vocalized tweets. They go like dooba dooba dee dee da. Like that's literally what he tweets.
Yeah.
Figure out what we're doing.
I'm ready.
That's how you drum.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm just speaking like a drummer. People get it.
Big players get it.
I can't wait to actually meet Rob in person.
Yes.
When this is all over, I mean, we were going to be in New York back in April before the virus hit. So once this thing is all over and we get things back on the calendar, we're gonna buy Rob fancy dinner, the whole nine. I cannot wait to hang out.
Oh yeah, we'll do it. We'll throw it on Instagram Live.
Rob actually said, I remember him saying in a meeting, hey, if you guys ever need a place to stay when you're in New York, and I was like, don't say that because they will be in New York and they will need a place to stay.
It sounds like it would be a great story to tell afterwards, so I'm still more than open to it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys too, for sure.
Sleep on your floor immediately when they get home from a gig, or like maybe Jesse will play video games on his laptop. We're not partiers.
Yeah, it's a pretty chill time, but it's a good time.
As long as you guys are cool with this one right here.
I love him/her/they already.
Yeah, what's the kitty's name?
Oh, that's Bunny right there.
Hi, Bunny. I love you, Bunny.
Cat.
Yeah, Victor will gush over your cat. Believe that.
I will.
There's something adorable about a cat named after another animal. I really like that.
It works.
Bunny. It does. She looks like a bunny.
If Jesse
Cat
ever
named
gets
Bunny.
He hops.
a dog, you're gonna name a giraffe.
Yes.
Instead of a giraffe.
That's a good idea. I wasn't going to do that, but now I'm going to do that. Okay, I feel like we should wrap this up at this point.
That out of the minute.
If anybody made it this far, depending on how the edit goes, you rock. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks again to Rob for making this crazy thing come to life, for Quil, to keeping us all organized. There's probably 100 things in this video that we wouldn't have remembered that we came up with it without Quil keeping us on track. So huge shout out to Quil, and thank you to all of you for watching the video. Go watch it again real quick, just for fun.
We're still gonna on Google Hangouts every 2 weeks, right, guys?
Oh god, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, next 2 weeks from now.
Get used to it.
Yeah,
Please.
Saturday, 5:30. You know.
Heck
Should we-
yeah. Not.
Group photo.
On,
Oh yeah. How do we do that?
oh,
Yeah,
Rob,
it's-
Everybody pose on 3, and then I'll take a still.
Cool.
okay.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.